drills the middle. He's got Jennings. Touchdown! Brett Favre has become the National Football League all-time leading touchdown passer.
Oh, what a night this figures to be at Lambeau. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer, welcome to Green Bay. It's the Bears against the Packers, and we've been coming in here over the past couple of years, and all of the locals want to know, do you think Brett Favre is going to retire? When will Brett retire? You come in here now, not a whisper. All the locals want to know is this team good enough to get to the Super Bowl? Who knows? They're 4-0, trying to go to 5-0 tonight, favored against a Chicago team that did go to the Super Bowl last season. But the Bears are off to a very rocky start. 1-3 is their record. 2 fourth-quarter collapses against Dallas and Detroit. They yielded a league record 34 fourth-quarter points to Detroit last week. If they lose tonight, their chances of getting to the playoffs minimal at best. John, first, Green Bay. I have to laugh. One of the 10 commandments for any coaches, we have to run the ball. We have to establish the run game. Green Bay has done nothing in that regard. They're last in the league in rushing. They got away with it in September. But what do you think the Packers are going to have to do now in October?
You know, I think they have to stay with what they're doing. I know Mike McCarthy says the same thing. You know, we have to be able to run. We want to run more tonight. And, you know, they've thrown over 70% of the time. But when you look at the running backs they have and you look at the quarterbacks that they have, I mean, it's an ace over a deuce. You're going to let Brett Favre do what he does. And now, a lot of those passes are short passes or just long handoffs, but that's what they do. I mean, it's Brett Favre getting rid of the ball quickly, getting it to his playmakers, and they're making plays. And if I was going to change that, I wouldn't start tonight.
No, they're going to play that ace-high hand again. As far as the Bears are concerned, lead the league in turnovers, near the top in penalties, a slew of injuries primarily defensively. They've already made a quarterback change, and that's the first month of the season. What do the Bears have to do to get back on the winning track?
You know, just stop that turnover stuff and get turnovers. I think, you know, in talking to Lovie Bear and the Bears last night when they come into town, they were the most confident 1-3 team that I've ever seen. And Lovie knows that, you know, we've made those mistakes. That was the first quarter. We're starting the second quarter tonight. And I think he believes, and the Bear players believe, that they are going to turn it around starting against the Packers.
They need to. They have to go to 2-3. They know the importance of this one tonight.
Our mindset is just to find a way to win. It's a hostile environment. We play pretty well up here at Green Bay, though. We've won the last 3 years. Somehow we found a way to win up here, and we got to try and do the same thing tonight.
The NFL has designated this National Breast Cancer Awareness Weekend, and there is a breast cancer survivor, Deanna Favre, the wife of Brett Favre, just moments ago coming out onto the field and serving as an honorary captain tonight for the Green Bay Packers. And now Deanna is down on the field with Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Thank you very much, Al. Deanna Favre, clean for the past 3 years. Just got an appointment last 2 weeks ago to tell her that. What is your game plan for trying to raise awareness about breast cancer?
Well, it's like tonight, the NFL is getting involved, you know, raising awareness through events like this, and just hopefully just to press on and have events like this, and different organizations are really putting the word out there. You could marry a football player and everybody could know about your breast cancer. No, but I think it's events like this that really spread the word.
All right, now speaking of the football player, there's always so much talk with Brett about his retirement. But when you see the success he's having and the success the team is having, what does that mean to you?
It's so exciting. Who deserves it better? We've been through so much in the past couple of years, and I think Brett has really gotten back to, you know, feeling really confident about his play. He's playing exciting, young. He looks like he's having a great time, and that's what really matters to him.
Thank you so much for your time, Deanna. Her new book is called Don't Bet Against Me, and Al, I think you could say that's Brett Favre's mantra as well.
Absolutely, and it's been his mantra since he took over here as the starting quarterback in 1992. It's the 31st time that he will be facing the Chicago Bears, and he'll get the ball very shortly because Robbie Gould will kick off for Chicago. Tramon Williams is back to receive for the Green Bay Packers. Lambeau Field rocking, crowd standing, and the game is underway. The kickoff is taken by Williams at the goal line. Out past the 20, flag is thrown, and he's tackled at the 28-yard line. Larry Nemmers is the referee tonight, and the flag is down. In fact, 2 of them at the 30-yard line.
During the return, holding, number 37. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Green Bay.
Aaron Rouse. So Brett Favre comes out for the 242nd consecutive time he starts. That's regular season starts. He's also started 20 playoff games over that period. Took over for Don Mikowski in September of '92, and right now October of '07, and having a great season. He's on a pace to set a career best in passing yardage from the 17. This time they'll start with the run, and that's unusual in and of itself, as Deshaun Wynn, a 7th-round draft choice out of Florida, picks up a first down on a 12-yard run through the middle for Mike McCarthy's team.
You know, and that's the thing that Mike McCarthy said, is we want to go 2 backs. We want to run our big play, which is a lead-o. The fullback leads, the offensive, the off guard, the right guard comes from the other side, so you get a double lead in that hole. That is the base of the run offense of the Green Bay Packers.
They let Amon Green leave in the offseason. He went to Houston. Wynn is a 7th-round draft choice. Here's a slant to Donald Driver, his favorite receiver. That's a gain of 7. Here is the Green Bay offense.
Brett Favre, University of Southern Mississippi.
Deshaun Wynn, Florida. Corey Hall, Boise State University.
Donald Driver, Alcorn State.
Greg Jennings, Western Michigan.
Donald Lee, Mississippi State.
Chad Clifton, Tennessee. Darren College, Boise State.
Scott Wells, Tennessee. Junius Costa, North Carolina A&T.
Mark Tauscher, Wisconsin.
Tauscher and Clifton, each in his 8th season. The guards are young. The center, Wells, is in his 4th year. There's Urlacher in the middle for Chicago. Favre off the play fake, throws to the outside. That's caught by Jennings, who caught that record-setting touchdown pass last week in Minnesota to eclipse the Marino mark. Tackled by Tillman, who comes off the injured list. He missed last week.
So most of the passes are of the shorter variety, and Brett Favre throws them almost perfectly.
On the ground again, this is Wynn, and Wynn with another big run through the middle. What do you mean they have no running game? To the 10-yard line, tackled there by Danielle Manning, and the crowd goes wild.
Deshaun Wynn just runs right off.
44-yard run. Wynn again. Wynn came into the game.
And you get out in the open, no one's going to catch you.
2nd and goal, as you saw, 2nd in passing, last in rushing. Morency's the back. He takes the inside give. Morency fighting his way down to the 1-yard line. Morency.
The ball, and you think Bear defense, you're not going to. But doggone, they're proving they can.
Out of the power I, there goes Wynn in for the touchdown. 5 alone. Mason Crosby to kick off. It's a short kickoff. It is fielded up at the 29-yard line, and that's one way to keep it away from Devin Hester, as Israel Adonijah hauls it in and runs it back to the 30-yard line. Favre goes over the pictures after a perfect first Green Bay drive. 7-0 Pack early. Sometimes there's information overload, but that needs to be just absorbed for a second. The Bears with 21 quarterbacks, and there they are. There's the list. Ever since Favre took over as the starter here, he hasn't missed a game. Here's the 21st in Greasy, and he hits Clark, who gets dumped immediately by Bigby for a loss of 1. Here's the Chicago offense.
Brian Greasy, University of Michigan.
Cedric Benson, University of Texas.
Jason McKee, Temple.
Muhsin Muhammad, Michigan State University.
Bernard Berrien, the one and only Fresno State.
Desmond Clark, Wake Forest University.
John St. Clair, Virginia.
Ruben Brown, Pitt.
Olin Cruz, University of Washington.
Roberto Garza, Texas A&M Kingsville.
Fred Miller, Baylor University.
And that line hoping to lead the way for an improved running game. Their running game has been nothing to write home about either, as Cedric Benson carries for Pacific right here on NBC. Here's the Packers' 2nd possession now. It begins from the 22-yard line. 7-play drive, 5 rushes for a touchdown on the first drive. Fake draw, buys time. Favre goes to the outside and underthrows the intended receiver Driver. Let's take a look at the Chicago D.
Adewale Ogunleye, Indiana University.
Tommy Harris, the University of Oklahoma.
Darwin Walker, University of Tennessee.
Mark Anderson, Alabama Crimson Tide.
Hunter Hillenmeyer, Vanderbilt.
Brian Urlacher, University of New Mexico.
Lance Briggs, University of Arizona.
Charles Tillman, the University of Louisiana.
Adam Archuleta, Arizona State.
Brandon McGowan, the U, Maine.
Danielle Manning, Abilene Christian.
They're still minus Nathan Batcher, one of their starting corners, and through the middle again, up to the 25-yard line goes Vernon Morency. He's tackled there by Tommy Harris.
I mean, he's not 100%. I'd say Tommy Harris right now is probably about 80%. He really won't plant that left foot in the ground a lot.
Favre out of the gun. Has time. Over the middle, that's James Jones, a great-looking rookie out of San Jose State who caught touchdown pass number 422.
He's more like a player coach.
From the 48-yard line, he hands the ball off on first down to back Ryan Grant, first-year player from Notre Dame. Second down and 8 from midfield. Favre throws, caught on the outside by Ruvell Martin. And Martin, who had a big night on New Year's Eve in Chicago, gets forced out of bounds by Archuleta, and another first down for Green Bay.
You see what Martin did on that one? He caught the slant, which is an inside pattern.
Seasons, and Driver takes it to the 26-yard line, about 4 yards shy of a first down. Bear defense against Favre, and as you can see, the Bear defense has picked him off 9 times, just 1 touchdown pass. They shut him out here last year on opening day. Then Chicago on New Year's Eve, they had nothing to play for. We did that game on a Sunday night last year. Green Bay came in and won their 4th consecutive victory to end the season. So an overlap 8-game winning streak for the Green Bay Packers. It's 3rd and 4.
You see that formation there? Brett Favre said every time they get in that formation with Bubba Franks, who just caught that ball, it's going to be a pass. Favre, I mean, that slant, he puts it right on Jones. I mean, Jones catches the ball, starts to run with it, and he's just stripped. Right there. I mean, the Bears defense does this as well as anyone in football over the years. Go for the strip tackle.
And that was Charles Tillman, again hurt last week, comes back here.
Green Bay is challenging the ruling on the field of the interception. They feel the pass was incomplete. We'll review the play.
So what they're going to This is Benson going nowhere. A.J. Hawk is there first. Let's take a look at the Green Bay starting defense.
Aaron Campman, Iowa Hawkeyes.
Ryan Pickett, Ohio State University.
Johnny Jolly, Texas A&M.
Cullen Jenkins, Central Michigan.
Brady Papinga, Brigham Young.
Nick Barnett, Oregon State.
A.J. Hawk, The Ohio State University.
Charles Woodson, University of Michigan. Atari Bigby, Amsterdam Admirals.
Nick Collins, Bethune-Cookman. Al Harris, A&M Kingsville.
11 years ago, Woodson and Greasy, teammates at the University of Michigan. And again, that Chicago running game, Benson was the 4th guy picked in the 05 draft. And he shared time with Thomas Jones over the past 2 seasons. And then finally, because of chemistry issues and Jones wanted a bigger contract, they got rid of Jones. Has the ball again.
He's going to check to a pass, but this is cover 2.
Ryan Grant's the running back, a slant. Boy, they just worked that slant so beautifully. And this is Donald Driver. Slants and crosses and slants and crosses. And that's been what Green Bay's passing attack has basically been through the first 4 games plus a quarter. 26 yards.
You know,
the ball twice tonight. And that, again, with Tillman, it's the 2nd time he's punched it out. This time Archuleta, broken hand, and cast them all with the recovery. Chicago needs every break it can get. As a wide out flank to the right here, a special teams star. They're going to try to work him. Here goes Benson for nothing. So the first quarter is winding down. The Packers have 189 yards. The Bears have 12. But the 2 turnovers have made it a close game.
You know, and you talked about the pass patterns the Packers run, and they're going to run those slants and they're going to run those crosses. And that's a tough thing about it. Everything you're running into traffic. And there's going to be a lot of defenders there, so after you catch the ball, you always want to make the run, obviously, but you also have to protect it.
A little more riskier to throw it over the middle. 2nd and 9. Greasy has a lot of time off the fake. Going deep, taking a shot, but the Packers secondary read it perfectly. Bernard Berrien got blanketed by the safety Collins and the corner Woodson. 3rd down.
Yeah, and that's one of the matchups that they're doing is Charles Woodson is going to be on Berrien, and Al Harris is going to be on Muhsin Muhammad. Here's Woodson right there now. See, he's going to have help deep, so he can undercut that thing a little. He can play underneath, and he can undercut an in, or he can run with a deep pattern, which he did on that one.
Green dot, of course, designates, it came into play this year, only one speaker on the field at a time, the quarterback's helmet, so that's what the green dot is for. Adrian Peterson is in the game on 3rd down, out of the gun, 3rd and 9. Bears still seeking their first down. Greasy under pressure, throws, and this time, can they get the first down? Rasheed Davis avoided the first tackle and appears to have been just a little bit short. They're going to spot the ball just inside the marker at about the 48-yard line.
If he doesn't get that, that was a great tackle by Charles Woodson. One of the things that they were worried about is Kabir Bajabiamili here on John St. Clair, and you can see why they're worried, and they wanted to give him some help. They said they'd put a tight end over there. They would help. They would chip and do those types of things. They didn't on that play, and Kabir almost got there. But that tackle by Woodson to save a first down was a great tackle.
Saved a first down because Jarrett Bush missed the tackle, and so now it is 4th down at the 48-yard line with under a half minute to play in the opening quarter.
And Jarrett Bush, you say, why is he in there? He's the nickel corner. And when you have two corners like the Packers do, and Al Harris and Charles Woodson, and then you can get Jarrett Bush in there on nickel, he's usually the guy you go after.
They're going to bring the chains in here per request. But the result's going to be the same. As you can see, it's almost a full yard. But Chicago wants to know exactly how much. Almost a full yard.
You say, well, why did they bring them over? Because those are the official ones.
Those are the official ones, and they might want to give their defense a little extra rest as well. They've been out on the field almost the entire quarter.
And now they have to take the official ones across the field, and they have trouble getting through the players with it. I think they're stuck out there in the middle.
Mainly the Bears.
Now they're measuring it in the middle.
Well, that Bear defense just got a free, 2 minutes.
If they keep measuring at another spot, if they go over to the outside numbers and measure, they can get 10 minutes. Everyone in the stadium could go out and have a broad. Isn't this a great place? I mean, you come to Green Bay and you just look at these fans, and this has to be the only stadium in the NFL where people still sit on benches.
Yep.
And there's something about that. That's kind of football. It's outdoors. It's Green Bay, Lombardi Avenue. There's something. Every time I come here, I get the same feeling that, enjoy it now because you're in a very special place.
You can get more people in the seats that way, too.
Right, you just give them a number.
Right. Maynard's kick is just into the end zone. The temperature, there it is.
Well, Deshaun Wynn went out already with cramps and had to get an IV.
Haven't seen him since. Morency is the running back. Wynn was great on the first drive. And here's Morency to the 21-yard line. He's tackled there by Mark Anderson and moved down the field on its opening drive. They've been doing nothing but moving down the field, but 2 turnovers have kept the score at 7-0. 191 yards for Green Bay and 20 for Chicago. 2nd down and 8 as we start the second quarter. And this is Morency over the right side for a gain of 1. After that first drive, he had 59 yards on 4 carries, including a 44-yard run.
Let's get him back in there. That's what we're paying him for.
3rd and 7. Favre throws underneath. Caught by Morency, and finally the Bear defense.
Run 25 yards in cover 2 to be a deep safety.
John Ryan with a tremendous punt, but Hester has it, and when Hester has it, anything can happen. A flag is thrown, and Hester is out of bounds at the 27-yard line. So instead of kicking away from Hester, they kicked over his head. That was a 61-yard kick by Ryan, Hester had to back up, circle, comes up to almost the 30-yard line, and now a flag.
And that was a great kick because it was not only long, but it was high. I used to always say when I had Ray Guy, kick it as high as you can, as long as you can, and there's no such thing as out-kicking your coverage. I said, if they can't cover it, you keep kicking it like you do, I'll get some new cover guys.
Hester, 20 NFL games in the regular season, 8 runbacks for touchdowns, 4 punts, 3 kickoffs, and a missed field goal. And he also, in the Super Bowl, ran back the opening kickoff for a TD.
Illegal block in the back on the return team, number 52. It's a 10-yard penalty.
Chicago from its 18 now, swinging it to the outside. This is Greg Olson, their rookie tight end. #1 draft choice out of Miami. Good receiver. Some other action today. Of note, the buzz, Tom Brady, just another great day, and the Patriots look invincible. Colts now 5-0, 3 consecutive seasons. Manhandle Tampa Bay, and San Diego needing a win, and boy, did they get one on the road by 38 over the Broncos. Through the middle goes Benson, and Chicago finally picked.
I think they'll be okay.
Hester is back in the game. They haven't used him on offense yet, even though he's been in for a couple of plays. This is Benson going to the outside, and Benson.
That's the strength and the base of this defense.
2nd and 7. Greasy under siege and has that one tipped. 5-man rush, and he swings it out this time to Adrian Peterson. And Peterson breaks the tackle and then goes out of bounds. So a 3rd down conversion for Chicago, breaking out of a Jared Bush tackle. So they wanted to go to work on Bush in the passing game, and then he can't make the tackle again, and that's a 30-yard gain.
And here's Adrian Peterson right here. He's the halfback, and you see they just catch everyone to the inside. Good block right there. And there's no one at all on Adrian Peterson. Did you see that block? That was Devin Hester.
Yeah.
He's talking about the guy that could do a number of things. I didn't know it included that.
I didn't either. Neither did Nick Collins, the safety.
Yeah, he depleted Collins.
1st and 10 at the 36-yard line. They're going to run Hester on an end around. And Collins can't make the tackle there, but he's able to swallow.
And then to get the ball in his hands, a reverse is a pretty good play.
Hard to sneak him in. To the outside to the fullback. This is Jason McKee's first action of the night. He's tackled by Woodson, but Chicago's moving right now on a drive that began at their own 18-yard line. They've marched 57 yards in 7 plays.
Right, and Lovie Smith is just doing exactly what we thought that he had to do, is stay patient. Sometimes you don't want to force anything, and the Bears aren't doing that.
At the 25-yard line, Greasy to the outside he goes, and that pass is off the hands. So his first action of the season against Dallas. They run Benson now through the middle, and he'll pick up 4. He gets to the 21-yard line. So another 3rd down coming up for the Chicago Bears. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Now in Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator.
At the 21-yard line. And this is Peterson. So they spread it out, and then they run the 3rd down back over left guard for a gain of 2. It'll be 4th down at the 19-yard line, and they'll have to settle for a Robbie Gould field goal attempt of about 38 yards. Pat Manley, who's been a great snapper for years, puts it in play, and Gould boots it through. And the Bears right now can send a big thank you note to Charles Tillman for the
center.
Yeah. Meanwhile, here's Benson to the 8-yard line. So the question is, can they take advantage of what is kind of like an iffy call? I agree with you, John. It's one of those things where it's so close you can call it either way.
Right. I think the Bears got a gift there, because I know what the intent of the rule is, that they don't want that guy lining up square on the center and just teeing off on it. I mean, he didn't line up square in center. He's pointed in the other way, nor did he tee off on the center.
2nd and 7 from the 10. Benson goes to the outside. Benson will go to the end zone. Touchdown behind a Jason McKee block. And as we started to say before, a big thank you note goes out to Tillman from every Chicago fan right now, because otherwise this game could have been 21-0. Instead 7-0, and now 7-7 coming up.
And here it is. It's just that lead draw play. The fullback leads. The halfback just delays a little, finds the hole, gives it time to develop, runs off his blocks. That was a good run by Cedric Benson, and he hasn't had a lot of them this year.
Benson 9 carries to 31. The Packers start this drive with a game tie, 7:45 to go in the half. Favre, the fake to the left, and then he hands the ball off to Morency. He goes,
and when he does that cockamamie thing, 5 guys will react to it.
1st and 10. He's gotten away with a lot of cockamamie stuff through the years, and some very conventional stuff as well. Morency, and all of a sudden, the Green Bay Packers with a major running game tonight across the 50 to the 49-yard line. Tackled there by Brandon McGowan. That is a gain of 15, and the Packers tonight already with 99 rushing yards.
You know what you have to say, where is Brian Urlacher? I mean, the middle linebacker has to make these plays. You see the right guard, Junius Costin, gets up on him, and once he gets up on him, then Morency can get through that hole. But the Packer line is doing a good job of blocking these Bear front four and linebackers.
Slant, and it's behind the intended receiver. This time it's Greg Jennings, who caught the record-breaking touchdown
by his receiver.
2nd down and 8. They'll call a timeout. And then about a month later, decided to come back. And now there is no talk of retirement anytime soon. 2nd and 8 after the timeout. Screen, reaching back for it is Morency. And Morency gets rolled down inbounds at the 43-yard line. John, you know when you've come full circle, we're talking to Brian Urlacher last night. What do you think of Favre?
Games, he hadn't had the best pass protection, but he was still getting rid of the ball. The guys hanging on his shoulder, hanging on his legs, hanging on his feet, and he was still throwing the ball, a lot like Tony Romo did to them.
3rd down and 2. Favre going deep on 3rd and 2. The pass is right there, and Greg Jennings for the touchdown. Maybe he's a young Johnny Unitas, along with an old Tony Romo.
You know, he's whatever he wants to be. I mean, they can say, you know, that he's old, he ought to think of retiring. You know, he's playing this game. He is, he's not. I mean, he's still Brett Favre, and he still has everything that he's ever had in the arm. I mean, he may not be able to run like he used to, but, you know, he can read, he can see, he can find the open guy, and the biggest thing, he can get the ball to him.
Mason Crosby for the extra point. Jennings beats Danielle Manning, who likened him to Antonio Freeman. Here's a little squib kick again with Hester downfield. They'll take their chances with a little bouncing ball that's fielded by John Gilmore.
Favre's spin his stories was the best.
Here's Greasy throwing to the outside, and that's caught by Mohammed, and he'll pick up the 1st down before he's tackled, and a flag is thrown. As going around the helmet of the tackle was Al Harris.
Face mask, 5 yards. Number 31, defense. We'll add 5 yards to the end of the run. 1st down, Chicago.
You know, this is the other half of that matchup. We showed Woodson and Berrien, and this side. It's Al Harris against Muhsin Muhammad. Al Harris usually plays physical and gets the hit on the line of scrimmage. He didn't get the hit on the line of scrimmage. He got it laid up there. You can get it in that first 5 yards. I didn't see the penalty.
Here is Benson, and Benson, who's been taking a little bit of heat in Chicago because he's yet to emerge, showing a little something tonight with a touchdown run, a little burst right here. He takes the ball for a gain of 11. That'll move the chains. 1st down at the 33-yard line.
You know, Benson fumbled last week and was taken out of the game, didn't play the rest of the first half, and, you know, there's a message or anything. I don't think there was, and I think, you know, he kind of feels that, you know, I got to be a workhorse back. I got to get the ball, and maybe the first 5 or 6 carries I don't do anything, but I'll get a little better in the next and better in the next, and one in there.
1st and 15. And on a draw, it is smelled out perfectly by Green Bay. You had Papinga blitzing, you had Bishop coming in through the middle, and Benson gets met by Barnett as he takes the handoff.
You know, we talked about the Packer defense, and one of the things that they don't do is they don't blitz much. And I think they kind of surprised the Bears. I mean, they're going to run a lead draw into that hole, and Papinga and Barnett blitz right into the hole that they were going to run the ball in. That had to be a real surprise to that Bear offense.
That makes it 2nd down and 20 after the 5-yard loss. 3 minutes to the half. Greasy, this time he has time, and the pass is overthrown. Coverage was very good, burying the intended receiver.
Over your head.
Wilson won the Heisman at Michigan, as I said before, Greasy's teammate in '97. 3rd and 20, screen to the left side to Peterson. Not much room there, and he gets tackled at the 40-yard line by Nick Barnett. Goes back to George Halas for Chicago, and then Vince Lombardi came aboard in the 60s. And as you can see, the record that Lombardi amassed here, the 5 NFL championships. Halas, who coached the team for 40 years in 4 10-year increments with 5 championships. And Vince Lombardi memorialized here, and of course George Halas would be the embodiment of the National Football League. From the 15-yard line, first down for the Green Bay Packers. Favre out of the gun. He's been throwing more out of the gun than ever this season. This time it's an inside handoff, and Morency will get taken down at the 18-yard line, and we go to the 2-minute warning. But Brett Favre leave the field here. The Packers hope to extend their lead. They're up 14-7. They start from the 18-yard line. Green Bay has 1 timeout.
Green Bay has 3 wide receivers. The Bears are in nickel.
Fake inside handoff, and Favre throws. Risky pass. Caught. They get away with it. Flag comes in. Donald Driver makes the catch. Ricky Manning Jr. Yes. 2nd and 16.
Because there's been some opportunities for interceptions, but sometimes he throws them so hard you just drop it.
This time he hands it to Morency, swinging to the outside. And as if he wanted to stay in bounds for a second.
The same position that Tommy Harris plays.
1st and 10, 14-yard line. Far out of the gun.
This is his 3rd cadence.
Yeah. The Goodline almost jumped off. Morency stays in bounds up at the 30-yard line. 4-man rush. They go to Morency again, and this time he gets tackled head up by Lance Briggs. Morenci's had a very active first half tonight. 9 carries and 4 receptions, and he gets shaken.
Playing the hand you're dealt.
From the gun, again a 4-man rush. They'll go to Grant, and Grant will pick up the first down. But kicker.
See, and the Bears are in that cover 2 with the safeties deep. I would try and hit something in the middle.
And Turley, and now they'll wind the play clock, which is down to 10, and it's 2nd down and 10. To the outside to Morenci's got to get out of bounds, and does, but that's only a short gain to the 46. That takes 5 seconds, and you've got 27 ticks right now, and a 3rd down and 6.
So now it's that same thing. I mean, he has to hit something in that 15-yard range. He has to go up the field with it. And again, the Bears like that cover 2 shell, safeties deep, and you think that there could be something. If you're going to have an opportunity to hit a relatively big one, it would be in the middle.
If it goes to 4th down, at least Hester goes back there for Chicago on a punt. Not that they kick it to him. 3rd down and 6 at the 46-yard line. Favre pressured from behind, gets away from a shirt tackle, and then hits Greg Jennings over the middle at the 26-yard line, and that's a 1st and 10. And Favre will now, and Green Bay take its final timeout. Brett was ready. What Brett wanted to do, you can see, he lined up with something in the middle of the field where you get tackled and can't get another play off. That's why Brett wanted to save the timeout, but McCarthy called it. 1st and 10. Favre throws. Now it's over the middle. Now it's caught at the 20-yard line. Manning makes the tackle on Bubba Franks. Now Favre's got to get up and spike the ball and set up the field goal attempt. And he does. And now they'll settle for an attempt by Crosby of about 39 yards.
I don't like that.
From your local NBC station.
Toyota, moving forward.
Okay, back at 30 Rock in New York, Bob Costas and Chris Collinsworth as the Packers lead the Bears 17-7. We'll hear from Chris in just a moment, but first, let's go around the league for a very quick look at Week 5 in the NFL. In Denver, quarterback Phillip Rivers and the Chargers came to life, and a 41-3 victory certainly pleased LT.
We saw the team that you probably going to see the rest of the season. We played well in all phases of the game, and so I'm expecting, you know, us to play like that pretty much every week now.
In the Battle of New York, staged in New Jersey, Plexico Burress broke away for the go-ahead TD. Then Aaron Ross's second interception sealed it for the Giants.
And it's intercepted by the Giants. Running down the left sideline, rookie Aaron Ross. He'll walk in for the touchdown.
2 games ended on big last-second field goals. Here's Carolina's John Casey from 52 as time expires to beat the Saints. And then there was Chris Brown coming through for Houston.
Yes, it's good. Yes, Chris Brown. Brown makes it. 1 second on the clock.
In Pittsburgh, no such dramatics were necessary. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers dominated the Seahawks 21-zip. Peyton Manning and the Colts shook off injuries to several key players. They stay undefeated, going to 5-0 by topping the Bucs 33-14. And the Patriots are also 5-0, thanks to the ever-reliable arm of Tom Brady, who has 16 touchdown passes already.
Brady has now thrown at least 3 touchdown passes in these first 5 games of the regular season.
All right, so, Chris, Manning and Brady are in the prime of their respective careers, but Brett Favre, who'll be 38 in a matter of days, is playing like a kid.
It's ridiculous. I mean, we've been sitting in here watching great quarterback play all day today. Tom Brady had 3 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, and his quarterback rating went down for the day. That's the kind of day that it's been. But to see Brett Favre, who in this first half, but for that spike at the end, was 19 for 21, 239 yards. Boomer Esiason and I, if we're the only 2 guys on the field, we can't put up those kind of numbers. This is just ridiculous quarterback play, and it's for a guy that, at least in years past, all we're doing is asking him, when are you going to retire? When are you going to retire? He's playing his best football.
Back to Tom Brady. He's got 16 touchdown passes. He's thrown a minimum of 3 in each of the first 5 games. His present pace actually would take him past Peyton Manning's single-season record of 49, which was one better than Dan Marino's 48 in 1984.
Well, and what makes it so impressive is that it's different people every single week. Today it was Ben Watson, it was Sammy Morris, it was, you know, it's been Wes Welker and Randy Moss. Dante Stallworth stepped up today. So you started to think, okay, well, if they just take away Randy Moss, or they at the beginning of the year, it says, if Lawrence Maroney gets hurt, then the Pats are finished.
And they pulled Sammy Morris out of the hat.
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter because Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, and I'm going to throw Tony Romo in there, too, are playing that well that they're carrying their football teams.
Well, Romo and the Cowboys get the Patriots in Dallas a week from today, which should be tremendous. All right, Keith Olbermann is next with his worst person in the NFL. But first, State Line Avenue divides Texarkana, Arkansas, and Texarkana, Texas. Well, obviously, we're in New York. That was Times Square. We're in New York. Keith Olbermann, just as obviously, joins us now with this week's pick for the worst person in the NFL. And is that selection obvious as well?
I think so, because that video is what it all looks like to Trent Green at the moment. You can debate the appropriateness of a quarterback trying to execute a blindside chop block on a 300-pound defensive tackle, either in terms of sportsmanship or common sense. But if you are that 300-pound defensive tackle and you are taunting that quarterback, whether or not he should have hit you that way is no longer really part of the equation. If that quarterback is unconscious and cannot hear you. Yet even that performance from Travis Johnson of the Texans might have been written off as just wasted effort, except that after everybody calmed down and after they strapped Trent Green to a gurney and wheeled him off the field like part of the stage at the Super Bowl halftime show, Mr. Johnson continued to detonate. It was, he said, a malicious hit, he told the reporters afterwards. It was uncalled for. He's like the Scarecrow. He wants to get courage while I wasn't looking and hit me in my knee instead of trying to hit me in my head. God don't like ugly. You know what I mean? Actually, Travis, I don't know what you mean. And nobody here seems to either. We rejoin this, Johnson, already in progress. I'm trying to eat just like everybody else, so to hit me like that, that showed me what type of man he was. He was unconscious. That's what kind of man he was. Travis Johnson, by unanimous decision, tonight's worst person in the NFL.
And we are happy to report that while we're not trying to trivialize what happened to Trent Green, it wasn't as serious as it looked with him strapped to that gurney. He was knocked unconscious. There is no issue of paralysis.
Right.
He's going to be okay.
It wasn't as serious as it looked when he was strapped to the gurney unconscious.
Well,
I understand what you're saying.
Smiling
No. You think, if we can be serious for a moment, you think, given what's happened even early this season and in past seasons in the NFL,
Absolutely.
when you see that, you think of long-range effects.
Yeah, but that shot was a serious one. And you begin to now think of guys like a Troy Aikman who have had to leave the league because of the accumulation of too many shots, just like that.
Yeah, and Trent Green has the past history with concussions. All right, on that sobering note, that's all we have for this edition of the Toyota Halftime Show from New York. After this, we'll go back to Al and John in Green Bay for the second half of Bears-Packers, with the Pack leading it, trying to get to 5-0 and up at the half, 17-7.
This has been the Toyota Halftime Show, brought to you by Toyota, moving forward.
Greasy talked about is that they have to work the inside of the field with the tight ends and back. You see, and that's what you look for is Desmond Clark was on a linebacker, Brady Papinga. And that's a matchup, and then you can throw the ball in the middle to one of your favorite receivers. You have everything going.
That was a 28-yard gain. Now a pass, and it is incomplete. And it's Greg Olsen, the tight end, who couldn't get away from Nick Collins. 10, and the handoff goes to Benson. And Benson will get wrestled to the turf before he can reach the 30-yard line, led by Cullen Jenkins. Rex Grossman, a year ago, he was the toast of the town in Chicago. Had a phenomenal September. Flank to the left. And Greasy with
time with 12 yards.
From the 36-yard line. He throws, that's caught, and there's the difference between 7 and 12. You're on a slant, you get 9. Instead of a first down, it's a fourth down. Woodson makes the tackle on Berrien, and Woodson is still down.
Yeah, that's why, coaches always.
Manley will snap it to try to make it a one-possession game. And Robbie Gould is able to bang it through to make it 17-10. So the Bears get 3 on the opening drive of the second. At the school at Louisiana Tech, 1st and 10. Favre begins at the 33-yard line. You've got Wynn back in the game. He started the game cramped up, didn't play after the first series. The fake to him, then they pass it to him. And Wynn, a 7th-round pick out of Florida, where he played for the national champion Gators, takes it to the 20. Wynn was terrific on that opening drive of the game. He had 4 carries for 59 yards. And then didn't play at all for the rest of the half.
And this is one of the things that Brett Favre and the Packer offense has done as well as anyone for years, and that's a screen pass, where you invite the pass rush up, you just sneak the back out to the side, get 2 linemen in front of him, and that's like a sweet play, and it has been since Mike Holmgren came here.
From the 20-yard line. Takes it to the left. Up the middle again to the 7th-round pick. That's Wynn for a gain of 6. Down to the 14-yard line. The Packers came in averaging.
Every time they're up here. They're very physical. They're not giving them any room at all.
And now Greasy has to spend a timeout. 7:09 remaining. 3rd quarter, 2nd and 10 when we come back. Pack by 10.
They say your lands are cursed. I'm Beowulf. I'm here to kill your monster. Show yourself!
You're as much a monster as me.
Are you still with me to the end?
From director Robert Zemeckis.
I am Ripper, Terror, Slasher. I am Beowulf!
Beowulf. This film is not yet rated. In theaters everywhere November 16th.
Your life doesn't have one dimension. Neither should your beer. The rewarding taste of Michelob Ultra. Perfectly balanced and made for today. Live life to the ultra.
Why did we devote 7 years to creating the new C-Class? Why did we road test it 14 million miles and wreck so many before we let you behind the wheel? Why did we engineer door hinges that could hold a 200-pound man? and brakes that could slow the car from 80 to 0 in just 4 seconds. Why? Because we promised you a Mercedes-Benz. That's why.
Introducing the all-new 2008 C-Class, starting at $31,975.
Guess who's back?
You really are extraordinary.
Sylar, America's favorite villain, returns to Heroes in an all-new episode. Heroes, tomorrow on NBC.
Heading to Quest Field next week. The Saints trying to get off the dime. They go into the Northwest to take on the Seahawks. Hasselbeck and company. Sean Alexander, Bob and the gang start things from New York on football night at 7 Eastern and 4 o'clock Pacific time next week. After a Chicago timeout, it is 2nd down and 10 from the Green Bay 49-yard line. Benson at the 10-yard line. They start with a run. They start with a win. 5. Win again. You know, John, I'm thinking back to last year and that winning streak. And normally there's a moment.
It's not they're 4-0, they're 8-0. And he said, you know, had we gone 4-12, he said, I don't know that the Packers would have wanted me back. He said that was another part of that equation.
Yeah, they already went 4-12 in 05. Now Favre's going to stop. He's going to dump it. And there's that risky pass that comes back to bite you because it's Urlacher who comes up with the football. Brian Urlacher, the middle linebacker. So Favre, who's been to the rodeo for 16 years now, he's made some plays like that. He's gotten away with a few, but once in a while that's going to happen to him.
Yeah, and here you see Brian Urlacher gets up in the A-gap, is faking, and then he drops in pass coverage. Brett Favre now, he's going to the sideline, and he tries to throw back across the field. I mean, that's one thing you learn that you never do. But again, you know, Brett Favre does these kinds of things, and these kinds of things do happen. And, you know, defense has to step up now. I said Brian Urlacher hadn't made a lot of plays. He hadn't made a lot of plays. He had to make one. 4th quarter, big play. He made it when he needed it.
Now Greasy will try to cash in quickly, and it is out of bounds. Oh, he's forced out. Touchdown. Greg Olsen was forced out. He came down out of bounds, but he was forced out by the defender, and it's a touchdown. Atari Bigby forced him onto the chalk.
Well, that's what you get. You know, you get a big 6'5" tight end that can run a little, and you just get him in the end zone and throw that ball up there and let him go for a jump ball. That's exactly what Olsen does, and that's exactly what Brian Greasy, he put it right where he had to.
You cannot review a force out. The only thing you could review on that play if you wanted to challenge, and they're not going to win it if they did, is whether he had possession of the ball all the way to the ground. But a force out is not reviewable. Clearly the force out was the
score, and now he's playing like the Brian Urlacher we know.
Win, and there's Briggs right there, smacking him at the 20.
Defensive line has been doing a pretty good job tonight, especially the tackles on those defensive ends.
2 experienced tackles. And now Wynn will not pick up the first down, so they go 3 kick. And you know, that's 11 out of 18 for 134 yards. Starts this drive. Swinging a pass to the outside and going to Greg Olsen, the tight end.
And work the middle a little more.
2nd and 8. Speaking of working the middle, that's exactly what the Packers do here.
Because I don't know that you're going to make a living throwing to outside receivers against these corners.
Full start offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Des Clark. 2nd and 13. They're on an inside give, and that goes nowhere. That's a beautiful play up front. Corey Williams, number 99. 4th year out of Arkansas. Steps up. And the pass is incomplete. Al Harris. Greasy on a roll over the middle. Finds Bradley, and Bradley is forced out by Harris, tracking him across the field. And Greasy again, as he did the last time, trying to take early advantage of a Green Bay turnover.
You know, the last time that the Bears had that ball, this play was open. Bradley on a cross, and they didn't get it to him. Greasy didn't see him, and I thought they have to come back with this one. What you do is you run the coverage off on this side with Devin Hester. You get everyone out of there, and then you bring a crosser to that vacated area.
And it worked. Now Benson to the short side of the field. Nothing doing.
Once he gets in the red zone, he's just 5 yards away from him.
Threw 2 of them last week against Detroit. On 2nd and 9, and that one sails on it, intended for Muhammad, who was covered on the play by Frank Walker. 3rd and 9.
Yeah, Devin Hester right down here.
And it's an inside handoff, and they give it to Peterson, and he takes it to the 18-yard line. Gold with the 36-yard attempt. And Gold's kick is good. Started.
That's the thing. You know, at the end of the game, they've already, at the end of the 3rd quarter, that was a big, big play by Brian Urlacher in the interception.
New center is Jason Spitz because Wells is still on the bench. And the ball.
This really isn't the place to open up here, maybe, but I feel that the second half they've been very, very conservative offensively.
2nd down and 10 after a 360-yard output in the first half, and that's batted away at the line of scrimmage. That's a good first half. They have 32 thus far in the second half.
This is that passing formation.
4-man rush. Favre, a little dump off over the middle. That's caught, but not enough for a first down. Bubba Franks makes the catch. Sheboygan. Here's a flag as Hester makes the catch, and he won't go anywhere this time. So Hester gets taken down front. Beautiful night. A little more beautiful in the first half for Green Bay fans. Right now, it's a 20-20 game, and Chicago has the ball, and Garrett Wolf is in the game as the back. They flare him out. He makes the catch in the flat, but then he gets taken down by Barnett, and there's a flag. So he was stopped short of the first down, but you have a flag on the sideline.
Garrett Wolf, one of those guys that they think can make a also.
Greasy now. Greasy throws into traffic, deflected and intercepted by Brady Papinga. Nick Collins deflected it, and Papinga picks it off.
And Papinga is Nick Barnett's best friend right now.
Greg Olson, the intended second half. He has been held in check. 2nd and 20. There's a little flip again, and he's lucky that looks like a play he'd run in the parking lot. Tailgating.
He ran that same play last week.
3rd and 20. Over the middle. Here's Morency, who played a lot
defensively in the second half.
All right. Here's Hester again. Will he have a chance? He will at the 50-yard line. Devin Hester. Traffic still not down. Inside the 40 to the 35. And a flag down back at the 41-yard line.
The Bears defense shut him down.
Benson takes the ball across the 50. Gets 2 more. So Benson tonight, the guy who has to be their workhorse, that's 22 carries. On 3rd and 6, Bradley goes in motion. Greasy with that deep drop and gets sacked back at the 41-yard line. So the pressure came, and there's one of the more on Harris position. Now Favre will start from the gun at the 27-yard line.
Empty backfield. This is what I think they ought to do.
4-man rush over the middle. That's caught, and taking it to the 2nd down for Greg Jennings, who was out, has come back. Split to the left. On the ground. And that's Briggs coming right in. There's another flag. We've had a ton of them in the second half tonight. That's Deshaun Wynn carrying.
Yeah, I think, they got enough balance now with that running. I don't know that they have to run another play.
Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Well, we talked about Scott Wells getting hurt, so Jason Spitz has taken over. 4-man line. 4-man rush. Favre stepping up, buys time, throws, caught, 34-yard line. James Jones, who the rookie out of San Jose, who is now with 15, 3rd down and 3. Whatever the official number is, he's having a heck of a night. Pressure again. Favre hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. Had to get it off too quickly. James Jones, the intended receiver, and that's Mark Anderson coming in to put the pressure on Favre, who's lighting up Clifton.
The Bears faked a blitz, and they had the guys up there, so the whole line blocks down. Now watch Mark Anderson. No one blocks him because these guys come up and they fake. So the guard comes down, the tackle comes down, and no one blocks Mark Anderson. That's the thing. What they call that is show two. Show blitz, play cover two.
Clifton moved inside, and Anderson had a free run. They're going to kick to Hester, who gets backed up and fields it above his head at the 9-yard line. And here goes Hester back up to the 20-yard line. So a good deep kick straight down the middle by the game, but this one's still 20-20. Benson to the outside. Nope. Nothing doing again after a big first down.
You know, and here he is on the outside. So again, you know those corners have been tough outside. So what you do is you put a tight end on the outside to throw him that go route, and you get a safety on him. And you get away from Al Harris and Charles Woodson.
4 catches for Olsen, their #1 draft choice out of Miami. Benson. And he'll run out of bounds. Phenomenal day at 147.
And Benson's no Turner.
No, Benson is no Turner. He at least escapes the initial hit, but then he's knocked down at just about the line of scrimmage. And for Benson tonight, that's 25 carries, so he's in a workhorse role. Because it's third down and 4. They give it to him, and Peterson bends his way for what could be a first down. Let's see where they put the ball. Obviously, you see the yellow line and move it back a little bit, and that should be enough for a first down. Nemers is going to look. Now Benson. And Benson this time with some tough running. Just in Green Bay on a night when Chicago needs a win desperately.
You know what I think he was trying to do is go play action and throw the ball out in the flat. The flat was covered, and then he looked deep and saw Desmond Clark. But that was the play. I mean, I think it would have not been smart to run the ball in on that situation. That was what they had to do. I think that was a great call. You know, let's watch a touchdown again here. See, here's the play fake. There's the fullback going in the flat. This is where I think he's going. But then he looks up and he sees he has a tight end down the middle. Now look, the safety comes up on that one. The linebackers come. Everyone beats. It was Nick Collins' man. But Nick Collins was so intent of helping on that run